Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attacking 2 podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Funnel, and as always, I'm joined by my fellow host, Andy Martin. And today, my returning guest, Sadik, also known as WorldWideChels, on the go, just come off work, special appearance on the Attacking 2 podcast. Thanks for coming on, Sadik.
No problem, man. I had to come on. I couldn't let you down another time, man.
So, as we three are ready, we're going to be talking about the transfer window, of course. We've got Barella and Paredes on the agenda. We've got the striking situation on the agenda. And also, from today's press conference, Sarri's comments on Hudson-Odoi and Ampadu. So, as always, you know the question. Right, okay. So, let's start off with one of the more exciting rumours that came out in the past few days. That's Nicolo, Barella, and Leandro Paredes, if I'm not mistaken. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So Fabregas, unfortunately, is gone. I know you always loved him, and I think we all did in some way. It's a shame, but, I can understand his reasons. But who will now come in to replace him? That is the question. What are your thoughts on that, Sadik?
I mean, I don't personally think we'll get a direct replacement this January window. I think if anything happens, it will have to be in August for sure. I don't think we'll spend that money on Barella. I don't think he'll sit on the bench, personally, even though that's a player that I'm very big fan of. I just don't see it happening in January. That's all. In terms of the other player, I've not heard much of him. That rumour came out recently, but Barella's the number one target for Chelsea, I believe.
So, Andy, what were your thoughts? Do you know Paredes, for example?
Well, Paredes, I don't watch the Russian league a lot. I think neither of us does. But Paredes, apparently, I've seen him, I think, in some Argentina games. He features in the Argentina squad on a quite regular basis. So he must be a quite decent player because Argentina is stacked with a lot of attacking talent. And he always features there under various managers. So I guess he's a decent player. We also had quite a decent record of signing players from, let's say, the Eastern leagues. Willian in his first two seasons, even though he's not that good this time round. I think he was a decent signing from a league like Ukraine. And then we had Samuel Eto'o returning from Russia to us, and he was a decent signing for a season. So I'm not one of these guys who says, well, he's not playing in a decent league, so we shouldn't buy him. I think he can be a decent acquisition, and he will only be second choice. So it's not something I get overexcited or have high demands upon. So for a second string player, he might be a decent acquisition.
Good opinion.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to that, this is actually something that most have forgotten. I've forgotten. I just noticed it by pure coincidence. Willian actually didn't join from Shakhtar. He joined from Anzi Makala. So that's actually a Russian team. I completely forgot that because they're out for 2 years. But yeah, no. Yeah, so Paredes, as you said, it's more of a like for like. So Barella would actually offer us more, something more in more positions, like the Kante position, also the Jorginho position. Yeah, some of us have been saying on the social media that he'd be more suited to the Premier League because he's kind of a tenacious, aggressive player. Would you agree with that, Sadik?
Yeah, for sure. Box-to-box player. I wanted players like Tolisso, Vidal, when Conte was here. They were his main targets. So I can see this player being exactly what we need. We haven't had it since, your Lampard. We need those goals, basically. Someone that can run into the box and make something happen. If I see Barella come in, it could be a threat to Kante some games. Maybe not first choice all the time, but like I was saying, I can see him replacing, some games for Kante, the Allen role that Sarri had at Napoli. That player that we need to come into the box and make something happen because we're not scoring a lot of goals. So, I could see that move happen this summer. That's it.
I'm not overly convinced that Barella is that player, to be honest, because I'm also a YouTube scouter, got to be honest, and I'm not watching a lot of Italian football. But what I've seen so far, and in his stats, he scored 1 goal this season in 18 games, assisting not a single goal. Is he that player who offers us a little bit more offensively? I don't think so. He's not a like-for-like replacement for Fabregas as well, because Fabregas can assist, as we know. He obviously can't, just judging after his stats. So he might be a Kante, and a Kante for all his critics, he has, I think, also deservedly received this season that he is not much of an attacking impact, or much of an attacking impact he does provide to us. Barella might also be a player who doesn't offer us that. So to be fair, Barella is a young player, and Sarri likes maybe a player who knows the Italian league as he does, and he knows him from the Italian league, and that might fit into the system. But I'm not quite sure if he's a replacement for Fabregas. I'd rather have Paredes, if I'm honest.
Quick question. Do you think Sarri could actually adapt him into a better role and change like how he's trying to do with Kante, trying to score more goals, trying to assist more? Because a team that is playing that, you can't really expect him to have those numbers, really. Let's be honest. So I don't know, mate. If he does sign, I could see Sarri trying to change his game. That's what I believe. Because
might be the case. Like you said. Might be the case, but he might be more of a Jorginho-like player than he is a Fabregas-like player. What I've seen with the highlights I've watched, he's more of a player who provides the assist to the assist, something that is also been said about Jorginho a lot of times, and that's maybe because his stats are so low, because he's a player like that, and he plays in deep position. But yeah, I'm putting this question to Jimmy from Sadik. Do you think he will adapt if he comes to Chelsea, Barella?
He does look as if he's a very adaptable kind of bloke. I mean, he's young, he's 21, he's got a very high ceiling. I think that's the difference between him and Paredes, because Paredes would offer us probably more of a like-for-like player in regard to Jorginho, but he hasn't got the ceiling that Barella has, arguably. I mean, he played for Roma, he wasn't bad, but there was a reason why he got sold to Zenit, He's got some disciplinary issues, it seems. So I'm on Team Barella here. I really do think that Barella would be the better choice, and we they're about the same price. Nice picture of the street of London there. and no problem. And I think Sarri could do a lot with him. I think with Italian players he can do much. I mean, Zappacosta wasn't his player, so I think we'd do a good job with Barella. So, I mean, that's the midfield position. But I mean, there is this other question regarding our striking position. I mean, Morata was once again, despite scoring 2 goals, pretty woeful in front of goal. I mean, the celebration said it all. He does seem as if he's off to Sevilla now. The Sevilla president even said as much, that they are looking into Morata. So I do believe that sooner or later he will be joining. So yesterday we were linked in the tabloids to Edison Cavani of PSG for an eye-watering 50 bloody million quid. What do you think is are the chances of Chelsea signing him, Sadik?
First of all, the press conference for Morata, Sarri was saying that he will be important for the second part of the season, which was a bit surprising. I feel Sarri sometimes doesn't understand some questions, or he might interpret it the wrong way. But yeah, he should be gone very soon. But yeah, Cavani, 50 million. That, I know we need a striker. I know we need to move forward. But this guy is not worth 50 million at the current age. I know he's a goal scorer, but he's not the way forward. We need to sign someone on loan or someone on the cheap, take us to the next 5-6 months, and then... Whoop. Sorry, guys. Going across the road, he got run over. But yeah, we need another striker, basically, that can help us in the short term for 5-6 months, and then invest a lot of money in the summer and rebuild Sarri's team to how he wants to play. Because obviously, first season is a transition phase. That's all it is. So definitely a no. But I think it's a rumor that comes, every single year that you hear. Now you hear Benzema, then you hear Cavani. Next you're gonna hear someone else. First is Higuain. I think Higuain should still come, in my eyes, on loan. But apparently, we have to bid 32 million or something like this just to get one on permanent. And again, with his age, doesn't suit Chelsea fans right now. So for me, it's another rumour with Cavani. It's just to hype up the rumours, to get everyone a bit excited. and see what everyone thinks. But we'll probably end up with Callum Wilson. Let's be honest.
That's a good point. So, I mean, we've been speaking about Callum Wilson on a few occasions on the podcast. Andy, do you think Callum Wilson, because he is, I think, 26 or 27, would he be the better choice to Cavani? I mean, don't forget, Cavani has scored 10 goals this season in 11 games.
Well, it's we're talking on really high standards here, but neither of the choices is a good choice for me. And that's obviously that's the club Chelsea demands we have. We have to say, all right, we want the best and nothing but the best, and that's kind of the standard I'm talking about. I'd take Wilson over Cavani, if I'm honest, because it gives me more of an impression that we go for a proper strike in the summer. But other than that, I want to bring another name into the discussion here. I've heard some rumors about re-signing Diego Costa. What do you think about that, Jimmy?
No, this whole chapter with Diego Costa, he was a lovely striker for us, but he also had his cons, and it was such a clusterfuck of a situation when he left. Do we really want to open that, that Pandora's box again? No. I don't think he wants to come anyway. He's there, he's settled, and he's not been in scoring.
Is he settled? Is he settled? Because
I think that he's more settled than he ever was in London.
But he
isn't
featuring anymore. He isn't featuring anymore in the team.
He does seem as if he's the kind of bloke that hasn't got a problem with just leaning back and enjoying his life, and that he can do better in Spain than in London. You just remember when he fucked off to Brazil. There. So I don't think it's a problem. And Callum Wilson, the thing is, 50 mil he'd cost us, I'm pretty sure. Backup striker, why? So Cavani, he's not worth 50, as Sadik said, but Jesus Christ, I mean, I think Cavani would be a better choice than Callum Wilson, in my opinion.
There's one thing we need to remember, that the ambition of the board is not the same as how it was a decade ago. They have to look at the market. They have to see where they can make the most money. The sign of Pulisic is a key thing. Like, he's the biggest name in the US right now. They're going to make the money back immediately. They didn't mind spending 58 million. So also the players that are leaving Chelsea currently in the squad are all going to be English players that are leaving. So the homegrown factor comes into this play, where Callum Wilson will need to be signed, most likely, because I don't know any other English player that we're interested in. So I think Chelsea probably offer about 35 million personally. They will not spend 50 million. It will be a shock. That would be the worst signing ever if it was 50 million. It has to be about 35.
Well, do you think he's worth that? I mean, would he be worth those 50 million that he's valued at?
The thing is, you have to understand that English players are always overpriced, no matter what you say. If they're 15 million, they're going to be 35 million. If they're 35 million, they're going to be about 55, 50 million. It's just how it is, because they get so much hype. But I think Chelsea, when they sign a player, they know they're going to make the money back, because always the net spend, the money that they spend overall, it's always clawed back. You never see that much of a loss, a huge loss or anything. It's always break even, just under, just above. So the club, I don't think Roman has the passion to sign the top players. When you saw your Shevchenkos, your Crespos in the past years when he first joined, he's lost it. He's not even allowed in the UK. He's not allowed in the UK or anything like that. So he could even sell the club one day. You never know. He might sell it in like 2 or 3 years. So also the transfer ban is also another fact. There's so many bad things happening around Chelsea right now. The fans, the transfer ban, the owner, so many factors. And now Chelsea trying to move to America, get the fan base in, more sales, more everything that's going to happen. So Callum Wilson for me is going to happen in my eyes. It's just about the price. I think 35 million is going to happen. That's what I think.
Maybe we get even like a player in there to sweeten the deal. Victor Moses, maybe he'd go to Bournemouth or Danny Drinkwater even. You never know. I don't know what Bournemouth needs at this current moment in time, but that would possibly bring the price down. And Danny Drinkwater is on a lot of wages, so that would possibly free up some space for Callum Wilson. What do you say?
One more thing. Sorry, we did also add Nathan Ake recently to them, so the relationship has to be there no matter what.
True. That's true. Yeah.
And everything seems to be set up, by the way. They've signed Solanke yesterday, 2 days ago. So he seems to be stepping maybe into that space. They have Josh King, and I think they wouldn't spend, even though Premier League clubs these days have a lot of money, they wouldn't spend 21 million or 90 million, or how much has it been? It's quite a lot of money. I think it's not the record signing, but quite on the border to be the record signing, Dominic Solanke. So they wouldn't spend that kind of money if they wouldn't need a striker just to add a third choice or fourth choice striker. Josh King is a starting striker for them. Callum Wilson is as well. So if Callum Wilson goes out the door, I think Dominic Solanke will step straight in, and Callum Wilson will be on the move, no matter where he goes. And Chelsea seems the most likely.
I think Aki is actually their record signing. So
is he?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think he is. Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. I mean, some do say he was just a replacement for Jermaine Defoe, but I don't know how much of a role Defoe played at, near the end. The 90 mil is a lot for Bournemouth, no question about that. But talking about Dominic Solanke and him being a former academy product, today we did have the comments come out from Maurizio Sarri. So this isn't necessarily to do with transfers regarding the ins, but outs. And he had some comments to say on Callum Hudson-Odoi and Ethan Ampadu. So Frank Lampard more or less told the press that, we had an attempt to get Ethan Ampadu on loan. It was rejected, which then more or less mirrors what Sarri said today, that he is going to be the replacement for Gary Cahill, which is great. The same is the case with Hudson-Odoi. So it seems that he's ready now. I don't know why he wasn't ready the other bloody week, but, whatever. He is ready now. So I'm going to put this question out to the both of you. Do you think Callum Hudson-Odoi will stay in this transfer window? Let's start with you, Andy.
I've said it last time. I think he is just playing around a bit, and Bayern is obviously known to be a club who is, when they are in for a player, they try every trick in the book and try to approach players in ways that are not like the ethical way. But at the end of the day, they are not. They can be serious about these players. We've known it for a couple of years when they always try to snap up the players from different clubs in the German Bundesliga, and they always had quite a decent record in doing that. But I think Chelsea and Callum Hudson-Odoi are a different kettle of fish, and Callum Hudson-Odoi is just looking for a better contract, and he's also testing out how much Chelsea, how much he's worth to Chelsea. And he wants to get a bit of love, and I can't fault him for that. No. At the end of the day, Sarri said he's ready now. He is willing to give him a chance, and most importantly, he's good in a defensive phase, which is always a good sign when Sarri says that. So I'm convinced the rumors will not break down in the next days. It will be a bit of a flappy time for us, but at the end of the day, at the end of the transfer window, he will say I'm staying, I'm signing a long-term contract, and I'm getting a decent pay rise.
Sadik, what do you think?
I personally think, can someone correct me if I'm wrong here? I think Bayern Munich's record-breaking signing is 35 million.
Yes, Tolisso.
Tolisso, yeah. So why the hell are they going to be fighting for Callum Hudson-Odoi around 30 to 40 million? Because Chelsea apparently want 40 million. Yeah. What I think Callum Hudson's doing is he's being a bit clever. He's trying to make sure that Chelsea are realizing that they could lose him on a cheap, because he can just run down his contract and go on a cheap on a free or something later on. Doesn't have to leave in January, personally. And this is the first time Sarri has come out and said personally that he's ready. Yeah. And I think Sarri was told to say that personally. That's what I think, because there's no way he would have spoken about Ampadu and he would have spoken about Callum Hudson-Odoi that positively in any press conference. We run out of players, injuries, signings not coming in, nothing's happening. And now you got Callum Hudson-Odoi that's linked to leaving. And he's interested in leaving because he can get the game time by Munich personally. So he's probably watching his teammate Sancho, how well he's doing over there in Germany. So I don't think he'll leave in January. The talks will happen in summer. Depending on how much game time he gets this season will determine whether he will sign a contract. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, that would be... Think about it. If he would not sign a new contract and we'd lose him, and then Hazard would go in the same transfer window in the summer, this summer could be potentially the worst ever. Losing Hudson-Odoi and Hazard, Jesus, that would be a huge blow.
And the transfer ban.
Yeah. Oh yeah, have a transfer ban in addition to that. Yeah, no, that would be really bad. Yeah, so tying him down is imperative. Actually, that's a very interesting point you make, Sadik. I hadn't thought of that. That he actually got told that, because he never does that normally. And why would he be ready just because he played well against Nottingham Forest? He's been playing well the whole season, you know. So him getting the instructions to do that makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Yeah, so that does seem encouraging. So will he start tomorrow against Tottenham Hotspurs? What do you think, Sadik?
For sure. I've been saying in my preview, we've only got 3 recognised players: Hazard, Morata, and Hudson-Odoi. Those 3 for me will be starting tomorrow, unless a transfer happens for Morata, which I doubt. But I think Sorry said Willian, Giroud, Pedro are light training, I think it was. And he doesn't know whether they're ready yet. So that sounds to me, it'll be a miracle if basically any of them play. That's what I'm going to say. I think Sorry will realise that he might as well play Hudson-Odoi on the first leg, because I think the league is back on the weekend. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're right, yeah. So it's more important that I know he trusts Willian and Pedro a lot more in the league, and for his top 4, that they'll probably play on the weekend rather than tomorrow. So Hudson-Odoi should get his chance to shine, and hopefully he takes it, man.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Andy?
Well, I can't really read too much into what Sari says. Or at least every time I did it, I thought, well, I'm completely in the wrong here, because clearly he does sometimes things he absolutely opposed to what he says. So I wouldn't be surprised if William was starting again tomorrow and Callum Hudson-Odoi was on the bench. And we can see tomorrow how serious he is about his talk, and I hope he is, because I think Callum Hudson-Odoi is only 1 inch away of absolutely losing his complete faith with us and maybe going to Bayern Munich if he gets disrespected another time, like he was so often this season, I think, at least in my opinion. So I hope he starts, and for sure the other 2 starters will be Hazard and Morata.
Yeah, I agree. So it's a make or break tomorrow. Sorry, if you do play him, then you were true to your words. Then we will hopefully see Callum Hudson-Odoi more often in the future, even if it's only from the bench. If he gets, for example, 20 minutes against Newcastle on Saturday, I think he'll be fine with that. He doesn't game in, game out. It's just about having a chance. So that will be extremely imperative to start tomorrow, and we'll have to wait and see what will happen. But to round the things off from... Oh, sorry. So did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of feel that the Bulldogs are going to be controlling not the full lineup tomorrow, but I think they're going to tell him to include Callum Hudson-Odoi in the first 11, just for all this transfer talk, what's going on. I think because it's a cup game, there's 2 legs. If we lose a 2-1, for example, it's not the end of the world. We can come back in the second leg and change the game, basically. So there's not as much of a big risk compared to a Premier League game that you can lose, because, these 2 games are over 180 minutes. So I think Callum Hudson-Odoi will definitely play tomorrow, but he's been told to play him.
Do you think that he'll comply with that, though? Because, he's always been very adamant in regards to transfer. None of his business, and that's up to the board. But this is a footballing topic, and, he's been always very authoritative in that regard. What's about footballing, he's been stubborn. That's his virtue. And I don't know, do you think he could maybe go against that advice of the board? I don't know why he wouldn't, why he would, but it would be possible if Pedro and Willian are up. He wants to trust them.
Yeah, because he could, he might want to listen. He could say that he's happy with the squad, he doesn't need transfers, but behind closed scenes, we all know he wants certain transfers. He wanted Higuain in the summer, he didn't get him because of his age, and now he's come out and said, yeah, I don't need to sign players. Transfer window doesn't mean anything to me. He didn't know Pulisic was going to be signed on that day. He was informed about a month ago about him. He gave his opinion, and then that's it. We all know it's a market signing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes against it. managers have the right to do what they want. In my eyes, I always support Mourinho, Conte. I support all of them personally against the board. I will never support the board. Even what's his name, Michael Manolo, he left for Monaco. There's a reason why he left, because he's seen what's happening, man. Like, I think Chelsea fans need to do a lot more. You know how Arsenal fans, gave their words that they want the board out and stuff. I think personally Chelsea fans will do it very soon, in my eyes. We'll see after a year or two what happens to Sorry, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's problems in the club, personally.
I mean, yeah, that we'll see, because that could be the start of friction if he does decide not to take him in, put him into the lineup tomorrow. If he was to do that, but let's just hope that no matter what, he'll be playing tomorrow. Whether or not the board told him so or not, just because Sarri thinks he is actually ready now. And it would be ridiculous, ludicrous to start Willian and Pedro when they're not. Willian or Pedro as Hazard's on a fit. When we've got still a very congested Premier League schedule. So yeah, I mean, Andy, do you have something else to add to that?
Not really, apart from the fact that he also was very positive in regards to Ethan Ampadu, which I'm also very happy about. If Gary Cahill leaves, he goes up a rank in the pecking order, and we will see him more often. Surely not tomorrow, but still, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, he is essentially our fourth centre back now, because Gary Cahill, he wasn't even in the squad against Nottingham Forest, so he's gone, and it'll be interesting because at least they're homegrown, so that works well. But okay, so I think as we're already over the 30 minutes, we will wrap things up today. I mean, we did get to talk about quite a few things. We didn't talk about Benzema, but I think that isn't necessary, as it was just the Sunday Express. Last things that I'd like to talk about, of course, Sadik, thank you very much for coming on. Thanks for giving us a show of the in of London at this time of the day. Very exciting. And thanks for coming on once again. As you like to plug yourself, I offer you the opportunity to do so once again.
First of all, thanks for having me on here. Apologies that I couldn't be on here for much longer as promised, but hopefully you have me on again. And as you lot know, I'll be retweeting this, sharing this out. Check out WorldWideChels on all platforms: Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything WorldWideChels. And hopefully I'll get some tips from you guys on how to podcast as well soon, man. But thanks for having me on.
It was our pleasure. And also to our listeners and viewers, do subscribe to Worldwide Chelsea on YouTube. We'd massively appreciate it, of course, if you'd subscribe to our channel as well. Give us a good rating on iTunes. Follow us at the Attacking 2 Pod on Twitter. Yeah, and we will be back on Thursday with our the Attacking 3 collab with Yannick on Chelsea. And next week we will be joined by Simon Phillips and another special guest to talk about more transfers. And that's all we have time for. And thank you for listening.